Shalom, this is Levi Shore. I want to welcome everyone back to Sweet and Good Torah. We have a very, very special Sweet and Good Torah, and I want to dedicate this Sweet and Good Torah to the refuah shleimah of a good friend of mine, Elimelech Dovid and Chayah Bailah. Also, it should be for the refuah, which means the complete healing of Yosef Abraham ben Malka, Sima bas Sarah, Meredith bas Sarah, Yehudis bas Fega, David ben Rus, and this should be Besoch Kol Chole Yisrael, in the midst of all the people that are sick in the Jewish people, and Besoch Kol Chole Be'olam, and in the midst of all the people that are looking for healing in all the world. So Iyar, which is the month we're in now, and this is why we've come outside, is a very special month, and it's actually called the month of healing. It's the month of refuah, and it's also called the Chodesh Ziv, which means it's the shining rays of the Shekinah. And we're going to discuss why is this the month of healing, and what does that mean it's the month of the shine of the Shekinah. So where to begin? So Iyar itself stands for this pasuk, which means Ani Hashem Rofecha, that I, Hashem, am your healer. So what gives the month of Iyar this healing power? And we see the time of year. It's the time of spring. You see it's sunny, it's beautiful, everything's growing. So it's a time even in the physical world where we see growth and we see light, we see good things. So let me see. So we start at the splitting of the Yam Suf, and 3 days after the splitting of the Red Sea, the Jewish people, the next stop was in a place called the Midbar Shur, which means the wilderness of vision. And it's interesting because the mazel for the month of Iyar is the shur, which is the bull. It's also called the Taurus in the Greco-Roman system. And what gives this time? What gives this time the special healing? And we see in the parsha of the Shalach is where the actual pasuk is. So 3 days after the splitting of the Yam Suf, the Jewish people come to a place called Mara, which means bitterness. And the water there's a well, and it's bitter, and the people are getting very scared of, what are they going to drink in the middle of this desert? And the Erevav, they begin to complain. And you see a pasuk, it says here, so it's chapter 15, Tes Vav, of Shmos, which is Exodus. And it's the pasuk here is Kafeh, which is 25. So we see V'yitzach El Hashem, Vayorehu Hashem eitz, Vayashlech El Hamayim, Vayim Tiku Hamayim Sham, Samlo Chok Umishpat V'Sham Nisafu. So what does it mean? So it means Moshe here, he cries out to Hashem, and Hashem showed him a tree, or eitz, a piece of wood, a tree, and he threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. And there he established for the nation a chok, which is a certain kind of mitzvah. And in this case, it's more of a mystical mitzvah that's not so easily understandable. And so we learn from Midrashim and Rashi. Rashi specifically says here that Moshe taught the people about Shabbos, the laws of Shabbos, and he taught them a chok, a mystical mitzvah of the paraduma, the red bull, which is very hard to understand. It's very mystical. And mishpatim were some of the mitzvahs which are, how to get along with each other. So they're more logical. It's easy to understand, when we say don't steal, don't kill, if your brother is in trouble and he needs help, give him tzedakah, give him charity, give him help. So then Hashem tells us, he says, Vayomer im shamoa tishma l'kol Hashem elokecha, that if you will listen to the voice of Hashem your God, so hayashar beinav ta'aseh v'ha azanta lemitzvosav v'shamarta kol chukav kol hamachala asher samti b'mitzrayim lo asim alecha. So this pasuk here, he's saying that if you will listen to the voice of Hashem your God, and you will do what is just in His eyes, what's upright in Hashem's eyes, and you will give ear to His mitzvos, and you will observe all His kukav, even the mystical of the mitzvos, then any of the diseases that I place upon you that I place upon Egypt, Mitzrayim, I will not place upon you. And then Hashem ends by saying, Ki ani Hashem rofecha, that I am Hashem, your healer. So we see here there's a link between the mitzvos and healing. And all this happens in this period between Pesach and Shavuos. And it's this 49-day period of the Sfiras HaOmer. We're counting for 49 days, and then the 50th day is Shavuos. So, Kabbalistically, if we look at this, there's 4 worlds. So, 4 spiritual worlds above this world that we're in now. So the first is Asiya, and then it's the world of making, and then the next is Yetzira, it's the world of formation, and then Bariya, it's the world of creation, and then above that it's Atzilus, which means like a closeness. Atzilus is Eitzel, next to close, so it's a world that's becoming very close to the infinite being, Hashem. And in these 4 worlds, there's these 10 Sephiros, and there's 10 Sephiros that we are formed with. So our neshamas, our souls, are formed in the Selim Elohim, and the body, even the goof, is in the shape of these 10 Sephiros, and these Sephiros are called the tree of life. So there could be a connection between the eights, the actual wood or the tree that was thrown in, but that's a deeper discussion. We're not going to go into that right now. But if you see that there's the 10 Sephiros that are in a person, and then these 10 Sephiros in each of these 4 worlds, we start to see how the 50 comes about. And we start to see that through these 50 Sephiros, higher levels, that we connect to an infinite being. And through the mitzvos, through learning the Torah and doing the mitzvos, we start to connect into these Sephiros. It's these Sephiros, if you want to think about it, is kind of like a spiritual circuit board that connects us to Hashem above, or all around. I mean, Hashem's all around us. And then Hashem sends a spiritual energy of life called the Shefa through this spiritual circuit board of the Sephiros, and it comes into us. And so when we connect with this, that's what gives us life, and it gives us health. And then unfortunately through like Averos, through like not connecting through these mitzvos and doing things against these mitzvos, we start to clog up sometimes these spiritual works. So it's very interesting. So in this special period of Iyar, the month we're in, which is most of the Sfiras HaOmer, what we start to do is we start to work on each of these midos, and we try to correct each one of these midos each day. Actually, today we start the week of Yesod, the week of foundations, the 6th week, and today's Chesed Shabbat Yesod. It's kindness in foundation, and hopefully we can do another sweet good Torah on that week, on the 6th week of the Sfiras HaOmer. And so simply by learning the Torah and doing the mitzvahs, we start to connect ourselves more and more fully to Hashem. And then eventually, as we finally, Ezrat Hashem, head into Yemos Mashiach, the Messianic age, more and more the Jewish people will start to connect more fully into the system of Torah and mitzvahs. And then all the nations of the world themselves will start to connect more fully into the system and have a closer connection to Hashem. And they will be more, more, you'll get more of this flow of the Shefach from above. And then we'll see a world where the Nevuah, the prophecy, starts to talk a world where if someone dies at 100, he that's a tragedy. He died so young. And then finally heading into Olam Haba, where the death itself will be eradicated. So I just want to say a little more. My friend Elimelech Dovid is such a special person, and his wife is such a special person, such a great family, that not only has he's been battling this sickness, this illness for 10 years, but instead of just battling an illness, like him and his wife and his great family, they've invited many guests into their homes for Shabbos and Yom Tovim, and just done so much to try to bring other people closer to Torah, and just such a kind, giving person, even in the midst of battling it. So I ask Hashem and I pray, and if everyone out there can just say a prayer for Elimelech Dovid ben Chayah Bailah, and it should be a refuah for all the people we mentioned, all the cholim, all the sick people in need of refuah in the Jewish people, and all the people around the world that are struggling with these illnesses. So Ezrat Hashem will start to tap into this energy more through the Torah and the mitzvahs, and we'll see a world that will start to finally be done with this sickness and illness. And we're going to enjoy this month of Iyar, the month of healing. So shalom, all the best, and hope you're having